Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have some content coming to you guys today. It's going to be a very busy day. To be honest, it's going to be a very busy 2 weeks. We've got the Women Tell All and Fantasy Suites tonight and tomorrow. And then next week's the live finale event, a 2-night bonanza. What do you guys think? Are you prepared for this? It seems that they've added an extra episode to The Bachelor because there's going to be so much drama they couldn't fit it all in, to which we reply, where was that the first 9 weeks? Now, it's been a relatively dramatic season. There's been a lot of firsts. Let me know what you guys think. I know we like to hate watch the show. Oh, this season sucked, but does this season suck? Is it formulaic? Are we getting what we're looking for? Are you watching Love is Blind instead? Let me know. A lot of people said, oh, Dave, could you just recap Love is Blind? And I said, oh, for my cold, dead body will I recap Love is Blind. Well, actually, that's not incorrect, but I will tell you, I will have Love is Blind content coming to you guys later today. I watched it all weekend, and I've got a few opinions about it, so I'll get into that. But as you know, we cover the day-to-day here in Bachelor Nation, and we're going to get into Kaitlyn opening up about her depression and a few other stories. So do me a favor, follow me on Instagram right there at DNeals. Double check, if not triple check, that you are subscribed to my channel. The best way you can help me out is to leave comments, hit the like button, and double check that you are subscribed, and that helps us grow the channel. All right, so we'll get into it. So Kaitlyn posted this yesterday, and I think it's always good when people post any version of themselves other than the highly curated, highly filtered, highly, a glamorized version that we all think we live. You know, you ever run into someone that you haven't talked to in a while and you're like, man, you've been doing great. I've been watching your stuff. You got this going on. You got that going on. And then the other person's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like all right. Like, I feel the same way. It's like, yeah, we show you one little sliver of what the day looks like. We don't show you taking the laundry out or wiping the dog's butt because he's got, digestive problems or whatever else is going on. There's always a lot. So here's what Kaitlyn posts. People don't understand how happiness and depression can exist simultaneously. I do. Swipe to see where I was at this morning, and this first pic is where I'm at hours later. Feeling good. For me, this is what being hormonal looks like. For some, it's circumstantial, and for others, it's an everyday battle. I do feel lucky to know this too shall pass, but just want to send out a virtual hug to everyone, especially people in Ukraine and people who have family in Ukraine. Can't imagine the pain, fear, uncertainty, and anxiety. For anyone struggling with depression today, either lay in bed and cry or get your butt up and do something that makes you happy. Whichever one you choose is okay. Hashtag hormones, hashtag depression. Now, I think this is a fantastic post. We'll go to the other image there. She is crying with one of the largest pieces of diamonds you could ever see. It's like, literally, that diamond is so big. People go, oh, how it's hard to be depressed with a $200,000 ring. It's hard for people to empathize with the rich and the famous. Kaitlyn has her slice of the pie. She's doing okay. She's, if not set for life, well on her way to being set for life. But it just goes to show that money doesn't solve all your issues. And I know people have a hard time, digesting that, but you're going to have issues and you're going to struggle because being a human is all about struggle and overcoming adversity and challenging yourself and pushing yourself. And it's like you can get depressed if you don't push yourself at all because you don't like where you are at life. And then you can get depressed because you're pushing yourself and you can't live up to your expectations. Where's the healthy medium? Well, that comes out with a day-to-day practice. Like Kaitlyn said, this too shall pass. The idea that you are enough, you have enough. And, I like the mantra, I am enough, I have enough, I want to share it. The idea that we can share our positivity and our love is not lost in a time that is very, very challenging. For a lot of us, we've only, as adults, I'm 36. For a lot of us, because I look at our core demographic is 25 to 35, we've only been adults during times of recessions and global wars and pulling out of this war and getting into that war and a global housing market crisis and the inflation of this and cars, sensor prices going up. It just seems like one thing after another. It seems like every chance we can kind of get to swim to shore, we're swept back out to sea. And yeah, like times are tough. There's a lot going on out there. So, but it is funny because there is criticism that Kaitlyn's receiving because of how cringe this photo is. I'll read a few of the comments just to put it into perspective. Because I have to be honest, I didn't think that it was super cringe to post a photo of herself crying, but I did make this video last week about Jasmine in her broken engagement announcement. And people were wondering, is it oversharing? Now, Jasmine posted one video of herself explaining her breakup and breaking down into tears, and then another video of herself showing a clip of about 15 different moments where she was crying. It was edited, there was music. There's a little bit of a difference. So there's a little bit of difference in being like, hey, this is how I look. Sometimes, sometimes tears leak out of my eyes. Sometimes I feel bummed out for no reason versus pretending to be Steven Spielberg and directing your own, dramatic film noir. All right, so here's some comments that Kaitlyn received, some critical. Her depression is legitimate, and her posting crying selfies is cringe. Both things are true. 100% agree with this take, says the next commenter. Thank you. I care for anyone who is unwell, and I am poor and unemployed and single, but I will be there for anyone who needs an ear or whatever. Where, as a person of means and a large following, I would hope that the real person in my life, hired or otherwise, could give me real support rather than me having to ask for it from people on the internet. Again, I don't remember hearing Kaitlyn asking for support here. So the commenter and a lot of others have said, well, it's a cry for help. I don't believe that's the case. I believe it's just to say, hey, you think I look good and well put together here? Because she gets a lot of comments from people saying, oh, Kaitlyn, you look so confident. You look like you got it all together. You're beautiful. You got this going on. You got that going on. You're slaying. And then she goes, well, yeah, I also cry a lot too. And that's not to say it's a cry for help. That's just to say, hey, I'm relatable. I'm just like you guys. I'm struggling. I've got these hormonal issues. Some days I can't get out of bed. And she says, get out of bed or don't. Whichever makes you feel okay, you're doing all right. So I think it's an important, conversation to keep having. And that's part of Bachelor Nation is a large community of people understanding or trying to be open with their love and relationships and self-worth and all these different things we kind of project onto the show because we see their relationships not only play out with significant others, but the friendships on the show and the relationship people boundaries people set with their parents as we see the hometown episodes. And of course, tonight will be the fantasy suite. Now, will the fantasy suite be tonight or in the, these are the important questions. Are they going to break it up so that the women tell all is both Monday and Tuesday, or is one, because the smart thing to do would be to break the fantasy suite ups where there's, a couple tonight and a couple tomorrow, or there's only 3 really. We'll have to see how it all plays out. We will see how it all plays out. And, let's see what else we have here. So I got this comment from somebody, because Kaitlyn said, oh, thoughts go out to everyone in the world, especially people in Ukraine, which is a good thought. Now, some say, you post, there's a lot going on in her post, right? Oh, sometimes I'm depressed, and also shout out to the people in Ukraine. It's hard to comment on because there's so much going on. It's the greatest refugee crisis that has existed in our world in decades. And of course, we know Russia and Putin are invading Ukraine, and they're fighting a battle, folks. They're fighting a war, and they're not giving up. And we should look at them all for just the heroism that's existing from the people that are fighting for their families and for their country, and for the people that are giving humanitarian aid. We're seeing people shot down that are delivering supplies to food to dog shelters, and people that are getting gunned down for helping the first aid. And it's just wild. There's war crimes being committed. And hopefully everybody that's on the wrong side of this story gets prosecuted and held accountable. We just really hope that it ends soon, and the worst could be yet to come, but it's been a bloody week plus. So I got this message from someone's, their Instagram's Handmade Rainbows and Earrings. Actually, what's the name of their, hold on one second. Let's see what the name of their Instagram is. I'll get it in a second here. Here's the handle. So Handmade Rainbows and Earrings. And they sent me a message. They've raised $600. Now every bit counts when you're trying to help out people in Ukraine. There's different ways to do it, but this Instagram account sent me a message. They're raising money by sending the funds that they receive from these earring sales directly to a foundation in Ukraine. So that's very fantastic to see. I wanted to go to my message with them. Here's what they had to say. Hi, Dave. I thought it'd be helpful to give you a bit of background on what I'm doing. I'm a full-time mom, and I work 9 to 5. So during the quarantine, I started making handmade items, and my small business started. She says, I Work, by the way, this is wild as a full-time mom, to start a small business must be absolutely wild. I work on my business during naps and after bedtime. This is also the time I get to catch up on your videos, making things in my creative outlet. But my favorite thing about all this is the people and customers that I've met along the way. One of my customers and now friend has family in Ukraine. They are choosing to stay in Ukraine to help house and transport refugees to Poland. Here's a link to an interview my friend's cousin did. They're a small group doing brave work with limited resources, so I decided to do my best to help. I thought I would make sunflower earrings, Ukraine's national flower, and to donate all the proceeds to this church. The past 2 days, my small community has blown me away, and we've raised $640. I've made over 32 pairs of earrings, and will continue to do so up until I run out of supplies. So it's just me running this operation, but I'm so grateful of everyone that has helped spread the word. It's made a huge difference. And then I've included a link to the page. So if you guys want to help out in a way that's unique and also very specific to our community, you can do that by purchasing some of these sunflowers for Ukraine from one of our listeners. And, people, when you see these terrible times of war, a lot of people go, man, this can be so heavy. I can barely survive my own life and our own crises that exist within our own circle. And then you see the news and it's just horrifying. But there's also a large group of people coming together over times of adversity and war. And we're seeing people even like with Airbnbs donating to Airbnbs in Ukraine. The Airbnb company is waiving their fees for anyone who donates to Ukrainian Airbnbs, which is basically people are, no longer using their Airbnbs for vacations and quick weekend getaways, but they're using them to support refugees and people that are displaced and helping out. And it's a way to inject money into their economy where they need it so badly so they can get supplies and this and that. So whether it's, helping one of ours out with the sunflowers, which goes to a church in Ukraine, or helping out people's Airbnbs. Just do your due diligence. Make sure the Airbnb that you're donating to has been up and around since before the war broke out, because of course there's going to be there's going to be people out there taking advantage of others' generosity. But the point being is that community is something that we don't always see because it's not always bounded by a team name or a church group or whatever. It's sort of amorphous and it exists all around us. And sometimes we find our community through tragedy and through hardship, and sometimes we find it through sharing just the day-to-day battles. So it's good for people like Kaitlyn to show the day-to-day battles when too often we're slapping Instagram filters on this perfect life that we live. And we just have to come, and I know we realize it, that we don't live this perfect life, but we have to remind each other that we all have tough days and we're all battling as the lead character in our story, whatever hardships we have. You don't have to wear those on your sleeve. You don't have to share them with others. Some people do, some people don't. Just know you're not alone, and we're all going to get through it by leaning on each other. We got our community, Dave Neal's community on Facebook, and you guys watching our channel has been, a community where we've helped each other go through, a real dark time with this pandemic, and we're getting out of it together. And we got a lot of content coming your way, folks. It's going to be a busy couple days. Stick around. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye now.